wasn't supposed to be like this, according to John Maynard Keynes. Back in 1930, the famous economist predicted that by now we'd be chilling with 15-hour work weeks thanks to technology. We'd be so free, we'd have no idea what to do with all our spare time. Fast forward to today, and wow, did he get it wrong. Instead of more free time, we're more chained to the clock than ever. Americans are working crazy long hours, juggling erratic schedules, and constantly hustling just to make ends meet. It feels like our bosses hold all the cards, leading to sky-high levels of stress, burnout, and pure exhaustion. Think I'm exaggerating? Let's look at the numbers. According to the OECD, Americans work 1,811 hours a year. That's more than the UK at 1,532 and Germany at 1,341. Compared to Switzerland, we Americans work a whopping 7 weeks more each year. In corporate America, you're always one step away from the chopping block. It doesn't matter how good you are or what you've done before. Unless you're nearing retirement, tenure means squat. You've got to prove you're hustling nonstop, because firings and layoffs are a dime a dozen. You need to stay in your boss's good graces, and probably your boss's bosses too. How do you prove your worth? By showing off how many hours you're putting in. Remember that time George W. Bush walked into an Omaha diner and chatted with a waitress raising 3 kids on her own? "You work 3 jobs," he said. Uniquely American, isn't it? I mean, that is fantastic that you're doing that. Sure, fantastic, if you consider burning out fantastic and very American. This results in a lot of wasted energy. Everyone's flailing around, burning out, when smart, efficient strokes would get us further. But here's the thing, people want to see hustle. You have to be constantly producing. It doesn't matter if the work is top-notch, just that it's done and out there. You could doggy paddle for all anyone cares, as long as you're swimming all the time. So why are Americans working so much? It's a mix of our cultural roots, economic pressures, and a system that's pretty much broken. First off, there's this thing called the Protestant work ethic. It's this old-school belief that hard work is a virtue and a sign of good character. Basically, if you're not working your butt off, you're not living right. This idea is so ingrained in us that slacking off feels like a moral failing. Then there's how companies operate. They're all about running lean and mean, squeezing every bit of work out of their employees to maximize profits. This work harder, not smarter mentality has seeped into our culture, making it seem normal to always be on the grind. Economic pressures are a huge part of the picture too. Rent can easily eat up most of your paycheck. Healthcare costs are through the roof. And college? Forget about it. Student loans are a lifelong burden. Basically, you either work constantly or you can't afford to live. It's that simple. Think about those horror stories where companies give out Employee of the Month awards to people who work 90-hour weeks, then lay off others via PA announcements. In the US, you can get fired for no reason at all, which means job security is a joke. We're taught to believe that if you aren't working nonstop, you're failing. And let's talk about social safety nets, or the lack thereof. Unlike many European countries, we don't have universal health care or free college. Your job is your lifeline for these essentials. So you can't afford to lose it, which means working even more to keep it. Low wages force many to juggle 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet. Even those with decent salaries often work 60-plus hours a week to prove they're valuable. It's not just about being a hard worker, it's about surviving in a system that prioritizes profits over people. The American dream is an excellent ploy to make Americans work hard. The promise of a comfortable life is the lure. It may come to some Americans and not to others. The mistake Americans make is to assume it will come inevitably, as long as they work hard, and the wealthy keep laughing. Growing up in poverty, many buy into the propaganda that if they get a college education and work a lot of hours, 65 a week, they would somehow reach the hallowed streets of the middle class. They go on to do this, then collapse in total burnout after some years, only to rapidly slide back into poverty at age 50. With no significant retirement savings. What a tragedy! Our companies ruthlessly fire and lay off workers with at-will employment laws protecting them. One prevalent example recently is the nearly 191,000 layoffs in the tech sector alone in 2023. American workers tend to undervalue and are insecure about the worth that they provide. The merits of the free market and meritocracy are continually drilled into our brains. American workers generally don't fight for our working rights. We take what is given to us. The decline of labor unions has led to less paid time off and other leave benefits. The U.S. has the third lowest trade union participation rate of OECD countries on record, at just 9.9% of the workforce. That rate has been trending downward for decades. Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, and Iceland are all over 50% unionized. American culture values money over everything else. We love money. We want more of it, and we think money can buy happiness. And the more we work, the more we get paid. Or so the theory goes. It's been drilled into our heads that we are lazy compared to emerging market counterpart workers in India, Mexico, China, and other parts of Asia. Who isn't? And what is our mental image of the work environments in those locales? To validate those fears, our jobs are being outsourced to cheap labor in those countries. In reality, the U.S. trails only a handful of countries in productivity per worker per country. For most Americans, work-life balance is pretty much a myth. We seem to take pride in always being on when it comes to work. Got an email at 9 p.m.? Better reply. A client in Asia wants to meet at midnight? No problem. We just can't say no to our bosses and customers. This creates crazy expectations. Sure, customers love a company that's always available, but this forces other companies to adopt the same always-on mentality. The result? Overburdened employees who eventually burn out. One of the worst work practices Americans have, according to foreigners, is the habit of sending and answering emails after work hours. In other cultures, work life and personal life are more distinct. For example, France even enacted a law allowing employees to ignore work-related emails after hours. In Europe, people give their all from 9 to 5 and then they're done. They hate being contacted late. If you email someone on a Sunday, they'll be annoyed seeing it on Monday. To them, Americans never stop working. Even during work hours, Americans have some odd habits. Many eat at their desks. A 2015 survey found that only 1 in 5 Americans actually takes their lunch break away from their desks, with most eating while they work. Some even skip lunch altogether to keep working. Meanwhile, in France, Spain, Greece, and other countries, lunch breaks can last an hour or more and never happen in front of a computer. Americans also seldom take breaks during the day. In Sweden, workers enjoy a daily breather called fika, an extended coffee break where employees can gather and socialize. Some offices even offer 2 breaks, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. Studies show that taking breaks helps increase creativity, regain focus, and retain information. And it gets worse. Some companies, like Amazon, restrict restroom breaks so much that employees end up urinating in bottles and defecating in bags. That's just inhumane and horrible. When it comes to vacations, Americans get the short end of the stick. Most companies offer around 2 weeks of paid leave, and employees only take 54% of it. Many fear that taking time off will hurt their chances for promotion or job security. New parents face similar issues, often taking far less leave than needed due to cultural stigma. It doesn't have to be this way. It's okay to ask for fewer hours, take a week-long vacation, work remotely, or take unpaid leave to raise a child. Don't let life pass you by. Sometimes you just need to say, enough is enough.